She married the coldest and most arrogant millionaire, but she never imagined that my father Henry Lancaster spent 30 years building his empire, and he made it clear I was a chess piece in his game. When I became CEO of Lancaster Tower at 28, I thought I'd finally earned his respect. I was wrong. The first red flag came in a board meeting when Henry questioned my emotional stability and suggested I needed to settle down to prove I could lead. He'd been undermining me for months, planting doubts about my commitment. After the meeting, he said, "The board needs to see you as a family man. Your bachelor lifestyle is a liability." Translation, control. His stepmother Vivien arrived with a list of suitable wives from respectable families. That's when I met Emma Bennett, working the night shift at a small cafe to pay for her sister's heart surgery. I walked in soaked from rain. She treated me like any other customer, no deference, no recognition of my name. "What'll it be?" she asked, not looking up from her notepad. Her indifference hooked me. Here was someone who couldn't be bought. When I proposed a marriage arrangement, public appearances, her sister's bills paid, a clean divorce after a year, she almost laughed. "You want to pay me to be your wife? It's business," I said. "You get Lily's surgery. I get room to lead." 3 weeks later, we married at a courthouse. Emma moved into my penthouse. We kept boundaries, her space, mine, and smiles for cameras when required. Henry wanted a wife he could puppeteer, and Emma's background made her a target. At our first gala, he shook hands, then asked strangers pointed questions about her qualifications, smiling while implying she was unfit for the Lancaster world. "She seems charming," he told me, condescending. "I wonder if she understands our world's complexities." 6 months in, Henry filed a lawsuit alleging corporate misconduct and calling me unfit to lead. The timing was surgical right after Emma began attending board meetings and offering sharp insights that even his allies respected. "Your little wife has given you quite the confidence boost," he said at dinner. "Confidence without wisdom is dangerous." What he didn't know, Emma had been documenting everything. Her finance background trained her to see patterns. Quietly, she logged his pressure campaigns, his whispered threats, his attempts to sway votes. She kept dates, names, and messages. Then Henry went to Emma directly. Over lunch, he offered her double what I was paying if she'd testify that our marriage was a sham and I was deceiving the board. "He's using you," Henry said. "When this ends, you'll have nothing. I'm offering security." Emma recorded the entire conversation. That night, she pressed play. His voice filled our kitchen, cool and certain. "I think it's time your father learns what loyalty looks like," she said. We prepared. Emma organized the evidence, his calls to board members from private phones, informal meetings scheduled off the books, edits to minutes that softened his interference. Then she found worse money diverted from employee pension funds into layered personal accounts, disguised as special initiatives. Henry called an emergency board meeting to remove me. He arrived confident, flanked by his loyalists. I arrived with Emma and a binder. He began with theater. "For the protection of Lancaster Tower, we must act." I opened the binder. First came the recording of his bribe offer to Emma, then Emma's logs, timestamps, messages, and corroborations. Finally, the transfers from pension funds to entities he controlled. Silence replaced theater. I looked at him. "You built a legacy and used it like a weapon against your own people." The vote flipped instantly. The board maintained confidence in my leadership and moved to suspend Henry pending investigation. His lawsuit died within days. Federal investigators took over. At home, the distance between Emma and me evaporated. We'd started as a contract. Now we were partners. She challenged me, steadied me, and refused to perform for anyone. When reporters circled, Emma stood beside me and answered exactly what was asked, nothing more, nothing less. Investors noticed. Employees noticed more. 6 months later, Henry was convicted of embezzlement and sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. Lancaster Tower's stock hit an all-time high, not on hype, but on execution. Department heads who used to flinch at Henry's late-night calls started proposing ideas without fear. The company felt lighter. The day of sentencing, I sat in the gallery as the judge read the verdict. Henry looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. Security cuffed him. The room buzzed. Emma's hand found mine. "Do you feel bad for him?" she whispered. I watched my father let away his empire undone by his own choices, not mine. I exhaled for the first time in years. I feel free.